what's becoming apparent these days to shoe companies is that with all of the research and development, and all the energy they've expended developing cushioning for athletic shoes, they have not in any way decreased the number of foot injuries, foot and ankle and knee injuries as a result of people wearing these shoes. In fact, it seems that the better padded the shoe you wear, the more likely you are to get injured. That doesn't make sense, does it? Well, it does if you understand the foot a little bit. First of all, you have to understand that most people's feet are weak to begin with. And that's just a given. Because of the fact that we live in an industrialized society where all the surfaces have been leveled and paved and are predictable, we don't use our feet to their full capacity. Remember I said earlier that the foot is the only part of your body that has evolved specifically for the purpose of having a relationship with the earth. Well, that kind of begs the question of what earth, right? The earth that was present when this thing evolved, Gesundheit, is not present for most of us. It's been leveled, it's been paved, it's predictable. We walk around with these, nature has given us these all-terrain vehicles that we never take off-road. What's going to happen to them? If we don't use them, we tend to lose them. Fortunately, yoga is done barefoot. And fortunately, some of us are smart enough to take off the shoes whenever we can and walk around barefoot. Maybe on level, even predictable surfaces, but at least getting some of the sensory information that's available through the foot. Nature, in all its wisdom, has placed 75 to 80% of our body's proprioceptors in the region of the ankle. Remember, a proprioceptor is a mechanical receptor within a joint structure that delivers sensory information to your nervous system. Why do we have so many of those here? Because we're the only biped mammals on the planet. Unless we can get good information from our ankles, we have no hope of keeping that center line of gravity somewhere within our base of support so that we don't fall over. But when the surfaces that we're interacting with are predictable, we lose that sensitivity. We don't have to get that much information from our feet. And that becomes a problem because without the information coming in, the action that goes into the muscles gets decreased as well, and we get weak. We get weak in the sensory part of the process and in the motor part as well. We tend to have weak feet in general in Western society. So you take that kind of foot and then you put it in a running shoe, which has all of this cushioning in it, and what starts happening is analogous to what happens when you're wearing headphones, listening to music, and someone talks to you, and you go, "What? What is it? Oh, okay." You're not shouting because you can't hear them. You're shouting because you can't hear yourself. It's true. When we talk, we're accustomed to hearing the sound of our voice at a certain level in our own hearing mechanism. When you muffle that hearing mechanism, you have to raise the volume of your voice to get it to the level you're accustomed to hearing. That's why we shout when we're wearing headphones.
So why do I talk so loud?
In general?
Yeah.
Are you hard of hearing?
No.
Maybe you're just a loud talker. Did you come from a big family? A loud family. Well, did you live near an elevated train? Anyway, so the thing about the shoe, though, that's related to the headphone is the foot needs to hear the earth. That's what proprioception is. It needs to hear the earth. And when you put a muffler over it, and it can't, what does it do? It does the equivalent of shouting. It hits the ground harder. Instinctively, it hits the ground harder, trying to generate that sensory feedback that it's not getting. So it's a losing proposition. You put something on the foot that's intended to protect it, and the very nature of what you're doing makes the foot more vulnerable to injury because, number one, you're further weakening the support structures. Number two, the foot's slamming the ground harder instinctively to try to generate the sensory feedback that it's being robbed of by this padded structure. It's kind of crazy.